Hello and welcome inside Sekias Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan for a presentation of Michigan softball against the Michigan State Spartans. I'm Alex Drain. Just myself today. Jeremy Parks unable to join me, caught up with some work, but nonetheless I am here as Michigan continues their quest for a Big Ten regular season championship, taking on the Michigan State Spartans. Yesterday, Michigan had a contest that did not go quite as planned against the Western Michigan Broncos down at Alumni Field. They dropped that game 8-2, one they were certainly expecting to win, but it's a busy week, 5 games in 6 days starting yesterday. Carol Hutchins seemingly worried about the workload on ace Megan Bobie, and she did not come into the game at all yesterday. It was Tara Blanco and Sarah Schaefer only in the circle, but she will be getting the start today as Michigan hits the road. Michigan enters this game first in the Big Ten standings. Michigan State right in the middle of the pack. Michigan at 15-2, a half game ahead of Minnesota. They can still win the Big Ten outright if they beat Michigan State today and sweep Ohio State at home this weekend down at Alumni Field. But have to take care of business today against a bitter rival. And we're just about ready for the game. For Michigan State, it'll be Bridget Rainey as the starter today for the Spartans. And for Michigan, it'll be the usual 1-2-3 leading off here on the top of the first. Faith Canfield, Natalie Peters, and Tara Blanco. It is another beautiful day. It was 83 degrees at Alumni Field yesterday. Today here in East Lansing, it is over 80 degrees. Again, a nice little early May heat wave, and we are off. The first pitch is a ball a little bit high to Canfield. A good crowd, and a lot of Michigan fans have showed up today, seated on the third base sideline above the Michigan dugout. But a healthy number of Michigan State home fans as well. That one is also high, 2-0 from Rainey. Michigan State playing for the second time this season. They met at Alumni Field back in April. Michigan threw Bobie in that one, but for Michigan State, it was Christina Zalewski. Today, she is not in the circle. It is Rainey instead. So the Wolverines seeing a new pitcher, and that one is outside. So now Rainey has fallen behind 3-0 on Canfield. This is the last home game of the season for the Spartans. They will be heading to Maryland, and so they are honoring Zalewski today, as a matter of fact, before the game on her senior day. The 3-0 coming to Canfield. She takes the strike as usual. Carol Hutchins' teams very rarely swing on 3-0. Really only Tara Blanco has the green light to swing in those situations. So the count 3-1. Canfield, the right-handed hitter against the lefty Rainey. Rainey sets and delivers. The 3-1 pitch is, a strike. Late call there by the home plate umpire, Mike Burwell. A little bit on the outs, just got enough of the outside corner, I guess. Canfield emphatically threw her bat to the side, ready to take first base before she was beckoned back by Burwell. So the count runs full, 3-2. And Canfield grounds it on the ball to third. A quick glove and throw there by Evelyn, making the play. So 1 out. Canfield gets ahead in the count, unable to produce a hit, which will bring up Natalie Peters, the lefty. Peters has been hitting in the 2-hole pretty much all year long and has had a pretty solid campaign. Looking to get aboard with Tara Blanco on deck. Michigan State playing in on the infield grass as that pitch from Rainey is outside. Over at third base, Evelyn has been pulled in about 10 steps in front of the bag, playing very close in. The rest of the infield pulled in a tad, but not all the way. The 1-0 coming is a strike. Peter steps out for a second. Does a couple mini practice swings before she gets back in. The count 1-1. Rainey sets and delivers. That pitch off speed for a strike. Nice pitch. And after falling behind Canfield 3-0, Rainey is now ahead in the count against Peters 1-2. Peters, being a slap hitter, doesn't strike out a ton. .313 average on the season. Rainey, the 1-2, that one is grounded up the middle, but glove there by Ladd. Throw over to first and got her. The nice play by the shortstop led, and 2 up, 2 down here for Bridget Rainey. Michigan struggled yesterday to get really anything going. They only got 2 runs against Western Michigan. We're just unable to figure out Jordan Kurth. This was a problem against Michigan State early in the season, too, when they faced Zaluski. They only produced 1 run, but lucky for Michigan, Michigan State was unable to do even any better against Megan Bobian. So here's Blanco. She takes a strike, 0-1. Blanco enters this game as the best hitter on the Michigan team, a 357 average, but a 497 OBP. She's been drawing a lot of walks. Also, the number 2 starter for the Wolverines, and that pitch is outside, 1-1. Blanco was in the circle yesterday against Western Michigan, and it did not go quite as planned. She gave up 2 runs in the second, 2 in the third, and then got pulled for Sarah Schaefer. Blanco was pretty frustrated about that performance, but they're going to need her this weekend, probably in the Saturday game. The pitch is outside, 2-1. Lindsey Besson behind home plate, forming the battery with Rainey. Eccles, Forrester, and Quinlan left to right in the outfield. Here's the 2-1. Uh-oh, that hit Blanco. Got her up high, too. Might have gotten her on the hand or maybe the shoulder. Tough to tell. It was definitely a rising pitch, and quickly coming out of the dugout is the trainer along with Carol Hutchins over there from third. But Blanco gets up and the crowd gives her a hand as she trots down to first. So Michigan gets their first runner on, not the way you want to, but you'll take it. A hit by pitch puts Blanco on first. See if we get a pinch runner here. It's something they've been doing quite frequently this season with Blanco on. Looks like they're going to leave her on, though. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Madison Uden, in the midst of an excellent breakout sophomore campaign. The infielder started the season at shortstop. She moved over to third, which has worked out all the way around with the rock-solid defensively Natalia Rodriguez having now moved into the shortstop position. But Uden offensively hitting .367, the second highest batting average on the team, and she takes a first pitch ball high. Uden also draws a lot of walks, an OBP of .445. Third on the team, slightly behind Canfield. 3 homers, though. I think they're looking for more power from her. Here's the 1-0. That pitch is inside. Uden bends out of the way. Uden had a big weekend for multiple reasons. She was playing her older sister, Taylor Uden, down at Indiana, and both the Uden sisters were heroes in each of the Saturday and Sunday games. Madison takes that one for a strike, 2-1. Taylor hit a walk-off home run in the Saturday game to win it for the Hoosiers, and then Madison Uden on Sunday doubled into the gap to score 2 in the 9th to break the tie. Those were the winning runs, so it was a big weekend for the Uden sisters. The 2-1 coming is a strike on the inside corner. Uden bends out of the way again, but not able to sell it that time as Mike Burwell goes up with the right arm. Eliza Hammerschmidt and Will Gomuluk are the other home plate umpires today. To count 2-2 on Uden. Blanco down at first. Here's the pitch. She gets a piece of it and fouls it down the left field line, well out of play. A little late on that swing was Uden. Michigan dugout a little vocal, but otherwise pretty quiet crowd on a beautiful day. Not a lot of wind. Blowing left to right, though. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch there from Rainey, beats Uden, and that'll end the inning. So Michigan gets 1 base runner off a hit by pitch, and that is all. And we will go to the bottom of the first, and with that we will preview the Michigan defense. A little bit different than normal, a bit unusual. Blanco at first, Canfield at second, Rodriguez at short, Uden at third, the usual infield. But in the outfield, the outfield is normal, but the designated player is a little different. So Hoganrod, Peters, and Falk, that's the normal outfield. But a designated player, we've got a little wrinkle today. Thais Gonzalez is the designated player as we look down this lineup. She will be hitting for Megan Bobian, who takes the circle. Beaubien had been on an absolute tear through Big Ten play until she ran into some trouble in the Saturday game. A lot of soft contact, some hits that dropped in against her, and she gave up 3 runs. Blanco ended up coming in to relieve her and ended up surrendering the tiring run in the Saturday game. But Beaubien bounced right back on Sunday when they needed her. The bases were loaded with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th, and she got a pair of huge strikeouts in relief for Taro Blanco to keep the game tied. She would pitch scoreless 7, 8, 9 innings, while Michigan would add the winning 2 runs in the 9th for a 2-0 victory. And Beaubien, in her first game against Michigan State, pitched 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, 2 hits in a shutout performance. Michigan will be looking to get the same kind of production from Beaubien here today. And so for the Spartans, leading off will be Leah Forrester, who was actually one of the 2 Spartans to get a hit off of Beaubien in the first game. She's a center fielder. It'll be followed by Mackenzie Long, the designated player, and then Ladd, the shortstop. Here in the bottom of the first, our score, Michigan 0, Michigan State 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. Beaubien winds up and delivers the first pitch a little high for ball 1. Forrester takes a long step out of the batter's box and waits quite a while before getting back in. Beaubien puts the ball in her gloves, winds up and delivers a strike, 1-1. She went with the off-speed pitch there. She's got that nasty combination of heat with the fastball and then the ability to pull the string with the off-speed stuff and produce strikeouts. She can really do it every way. She can get a lot of strikeouts in a Megan Betza type performance, but she can also just get outs on balls in play. And that pitch is outside, 2-1. Beaubien enters the game with a 29-3 record, a .90 ERA, 38 appearances, 27 starts, 17 complete games, 178 innings pitched, 77 hits, 35 walks, 222 strikeouts. Just a phenomenal season for her. 2-1 pitch is a strike on the outside part of the plate. Beaubien's been really the ace wire to wire. It was clear in the second day of the season when she got the start against Florida over Tara Blanco down in Tampa that she was the go-to pitcher for this Wolverines team, and it was her masterful performance against Florida State that got Michigan one of their biggest wins of the season in non-conference play. 2-2 pitch is a little low, 3-2. Forrester, the left-handed hitter, steps out, takes some practice swings. She's the best power hitter and really the best hitter overall on the Spartan team. 9 home runs, a .518 on-base percentage, and she's worked the count full against Beaubien. The 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. There's a good strikeout from Beaubien to get things started. 1 up, 1 down here in the bottom of the first, which will bring Mackenzie Long to the plate. Michigan State packs their best hitters right at the top of the lineup. 380 average for Forrester, followed up by a 354 average for Mackenzie Long. So 2 big hitters right in a row in terms of the ability to get on base. For Long, though, not a power threat. No home runs on the season, 7 doubles, no triples. Beaubien's first pitch, and that one is hit hard to center field, but ranging to her right and making the catch is Natalie Peters. A long fly out into about medium depth into left center field where it's hauled in. 1 pitch, 1 out there. So now 2 up, 2 down in the bottom of the first, and we'll bring up Katie Ladd to the plate. Ladd on the season, a 288 average. She started in 43 games, 2 homers and 5 doubles, and she fouls that first pitch off to the right down that first base line, where it is caught by the last person in the last row in these sets of seats here at Sekia Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan, for an in-state rivalry matchup. The 0-1 coming from Beaubien is outside the zone, 1-1. Ladd steps back in. Gets ready on the 1-1 delivering. That backs her up inside, 2-1. Ladd steps back in. Cocks the bat over the shoulder. The 2-1 pitch. She swings and pops it up hot, sky high into shallow right field. And ranging backwards as Canfield, she makes the catch. So Bobby in a nice 1-2-3 inning to get things started for the Wolverines. A strikeout and a couple of flyouts ends the frame. So we go to the top of the second inning. Our score, Michigan 0, Michigan State 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. So going back out there now is Bridget Rainey. 3.81 ERA on the season for Rainey. 93 innings, 93 hits, 73 walks. So Michigan's going to try and see if they can't exploit some of those command issues, as we've got a T-shirt toss going on here at the stadium. They're throwing out some white T-shirts up in the air in between the first and the second innings. A lot of kids in attendance here today for a weekday game. And then a good contingency of Michigan fans. And so, gets ready for this bottom of the second inning. It'll be Katie Alexander leading off, followed by Aiden Falk and Haley Hoganrod. 5, 6, 7 in the Wolverines order against Rainey. Michigan State on the season, 21-24. 7-11 in Big Ten play. Here at Sekia Stadium, however, Michigan State, a solid 7-4 mark. And this is the end of a 6-game homestand, actually. Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan, 3 games against Rutgers, and here this one against Michigan. The Spartans have actually won 5 of the 6 on this homestand, trying to make it 6 of 6 here today against Michigan. They look all but certain to qualify for the Big Ten tournament, where 12 of the top 12 of the 14 teams in the Big Ten make it. Here's the first pitch from Rainey, and that's a strike on the outside corner. Alexander steps out and takes some big practice cuts. Katie Alexander, who seized the catching job last season over Alex Subject, has emerged as a potent hitter in the Michigan order, a power bat, who has solidified the middle of the lineup. There's a strike, 0-2. Alexander with 5 home runs on the season. She is 4th on the team in that category. Rainey ahead in the count, 0-2. Here's the pitch. It's a little high. 1-2 the count. Alexander steps out. Michigan State doing what Western Michigan did yesterday defensively in the outfield. Western Michigan was in no doubles depth pretty much the entire game, and Michigan State is doing that. The outfielders playing way deep. The 1-2 pitch is in the dirt, 2-2, especially the center fielder, Leah Forrester. She's playing only about 2 or 3 steps in front of the warning track. She is way deep, as is the right fielder, Quinlan. Left fielder Eccles is pulled in a few steps more, but they are all playing very deep, worried about the potential big hit from Katie Alexander. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one floats high, and the count runs full. So as we mentioned, the walks are a problem for Rainey, 73 of them in 93 2/3 innings, and she was in danger against Canfield, falling behind 3-0. The count has run full against Alexander. We saw some of the command issues in the first inning with the hit by pitch on Blanco. Here's the 3-2. Alexander's way out in front of that one, and she pushes it foul down the third baseline. Rainey went off speed and had Alexander fooled, but she was able to get enough of it to stay alive, and the count remains 3-2. Alexander digs back in, and she's ready, and she grounds it to the shortstop. Ladd once more, and she throws across the diamond for the out. Michigan hitting a lot of balls on the ground so far. That'll be one out in the inning. And just not able to time up the pitches from Rainey so far. And it'll bring up Aiden Falk.
Right fielder number 2, Aiden Falk.
Game time temperature today in East Lansing, 84 degrees exactly. Just another beautiful day. It looked like there was a potential for rain during the afternoon, but none came, and we're glad for that. Falk again way out in front of it, and she rolls over it down the first baseline foul. Michigan, I guess, a little over-eager for the heat, and instead getting the off-speed stuff. Falk, a lefty hitter, 7 home runs, tied for second on the team. The 0-1 pitch is in the dirt. She's had an up-and-down season, was really one of the only impact bats for Michigan in the non-conference slate, but cooled off in Big Ten play. She woke back up in the series against Rutgers, had some big hits, but Michigan right now struggling to produce some offense. The 1-1 pitch is low, 2-1. Interesting that the Spartans' defense has now come in significantly against Falk as opposed to Alexander. They're now about 5 or 10 steps more in than they were in the Alexander at bat. The 2-1 against Falk, and she knifes it foul. Count goes to 2-2. The pitches are finding the zone. Michigan is still not able to square them up right now. To wait and see if they can figure Rainey out. Falk steps back in and gets ready as Rainey checks the armband. She steps on the rubber, squeezes the glove, and delivers. Oh, boy. Once again, Michigan just unable to time these pitches very well. As a big swing and a miss by Falk, and on a pitch that was a little high, but also she was swinging before the pitch was even there. That just not quite in sync there on that at-bat from Falk. And so with 2 outs, it'll bring up Hoganrod. Hoganrod steps in and gets ready to face Rainey. That pitch is outside. Rainey steps off the rubber and takes several steps backwards, reaches the left arm down to grab some dirt, and then puts it back on the ball. That pitch is outside. Now the count is 2-0, and Besson, not a big fan of whatever was going on there with Rainey. She immediately jumped up and walked out, only to say a couple words and give her the ball. Hoganrod looking at Carol Hutchins down the third baseline. Now she gets ready. The 2-0 pitch grounded once again to the shortstop, and Ladd's going to have another play. They're really peppering the shortstop right there. But that's the ground out. So Michigan now through 2 innings, nothing going against Rainey. And we will go to the bottom of the second. Our score, Michigan 0, Michigan State 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. Today is Christina Zalewski's senior day, and Zalewski actually a pitcher from Ann Arbor, Michigan. She was honored before the day with some family members, and her number 2 jersey was framed and shown up on the infield before the game, and her number 2 is also inscribed in chalk on the edge of the infield dirt. Michigan State honors their seniors. Each one gets their own senior day, and this being the last home game of the season for the Spartans, they might as well save the best for last. Zalewski's been very, very good for this Michigan State team, but she's unable to go today, so it's Rainey instead in the circle. So we get set for the bottom of the second inning. It will be the 4, 5, 6 hitters, Kelsey Carrasco, Caitlin Evland, and Ebony Eccles for the Spartans. They had nothing going against Beaubien in the first inning, and it's now been 8 scoreless innings this season they faced Beaubien, just unable to get them going. Michigan State enters this game with interesting splits when they approach this game, to keep in mind. They're 5-17 when scoring 2 runs or fewer, but 16-7 when scoring 3 runs or more. So it's that 3-run threshold that perhaps will be very important, but tough to reach that type of mark against a pitcher of Beaubien's caliber. Spartans are also 17-2 when allowing its opponents to score 2 runs or fewer. One of those 2 losses, however, came at the hands of Michigan back in April. First pitch is a ball against Kelsey Carrasco, the first baseman. Beaubien checks the armband, gets on the rubber, and is ready to deliver. The 1-0 pitch out in front of that one is Carrasco, and she shoots it down the left field line, foul. Made solid contact, didn't time it right, and it had enough of a hook to push to the side. Carrasco has had a hot bat in the Big Ten season, along with Leah Forrester, the 2 bigger hitters for Michigan State in the Big Ten slate. There's a ball outside. Over the last 19 games, she's hitting .375 with 20 RBIs, 4 home runs, and 6 doubles. On the year at .291 is Carrasco, so she's really heated up in Big Ten play. The 2-1, she's out in front of that one. The ground ball to third base. Uden gloves it, an easy throw across the diamond to Blanco for the first out of the inning. Not great contact there. That'll bring up number 8, the third baseman, Caitlin Eveland. I guess they pronounced it Eveland on the PA. .314 average for Eveland on the season, and she fouls that one back right to the screen very late on that heater, and that's the trouble most opposing hitters have with facing Megan Beaubien, is the change of pace between the off-speed stuff and then the heat, often finding themselves unable to really time it up. The 0-1 pitch rises a little high, 1-1. Eveland is a junior from Anaheim, California, 5'4", righty hitter. A 1-1 pitch. Oh boy, she was way out in front of that one. 1-2 the count. Once again, the trouble of timing up those pitches, and we finally get a little breeze up here in the press box. Got the windows open. Again, not a huge wind, but definitely the American flag out in left field, blowing left to right. So there is something down on the diamond. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Out in front of that one again was Eveland, and now 2 quick outs here for Beaubien, who really looks in sync at the current moment. She'll get ready to face Ebony Nichols. Eccles was, along with Forrester, the only player to get a hit off Beaubien in the first meeting between these 2 teams. That pitch outside. Only 2 hits the Spartans were able to produce. Eccles had 1, Forrester had the other. Eccles actually had a triple in that first game. That was her hit. The 1-0 pitch is on the outside corner for a strike. Beaubien, the lefty, firing the fastball well today. Overall, good command. Looks in control so far. Dialed in. The 1-1 pitch to Eccles just misses outside. The Michigan faithful not too happy about that. Katie Alexander hops up and will go say something to Beaubien. Eccles, also 5'4", a junior from Noonan, Georgia. A lefty hitter, righty with the throwing iron. Very slender. Does have 2 home runs on the season. The 2-1 swing and a miss. And the count goes to 2-2. Beaubien, 7 strikeouts the first game. between the two teams. She's already got a pair so far. The count is 2-2 on Eccles. Bobian delivers, and Eccles is real late on that one, but manages to knife it the opposite way and off the screen on the third base side. Count 2-2 on Eccles. Bobian puts the glove back in the mitt and delivers. And again, just really having trouble timing these pitches are the Spartan hitters. Eccles out in front of that one, and she grounded it down the first base line foul after the previous pitch where she was late and managed to get a piece and put it the opposite way. Just this change of pace and the ability that Bobian has to really shake up the dynamic in between pitches. The 2-2 coming. Swing and a miss. She got her on strikes, and that will end the second inning. A pair of strikeouts there from Megan Bobian. 6 up, 6 down. She looks good. Michigan needs to give her some offense as we go to the top of the third. Our score, Michigan 0, Michigan State 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports.
Spartan fans, it's time for the Pizza House pizza delivery of the game. We're looking for the loudest fans who want a fresh pizza courtesy of Pizza House.
We've got the Pizza House pizza toss going on. It's getting the crowd fired up. Michigan State defense heading out there, getting ready for the top of the third inning. And interesting, Carol Hutchins, she came out with all of her coaching staff to have a long conversation with the offense here before we begin the top of the third inning. Michigan's offense just not really clicking right now, and it hasn't been for some time, really, since they got a 4-0 lead in Bloomington in the Saturday game. It really looked like they were going to win, but the pitching just didn't quite follow through, didn't score at all the rest of that game. It took them 9 innings to score 2 in the game on Sunday, and then only 2 runs in the game yesterday. So you do all that math up, 4 runs in just about the last 20-plus innings for Michigan, not where they want to be. And they're facing a really vulnerable pitcher in Rainey, so they need to be better. The 8-9-1 coming up here in the third, and we've got an interesting hitter at the plate. It is Thais Gonzalez. She's appeared in 32 games, but none in a while. She takes the first pitch high and tight for a ball. Gonzalez was actually the starter early in the season. She started in left field down in Tampa, the opening game of the season against the UAB Blazers. And she looked pretty solid in the Tampa series, but was just unable to follow that up as the season progressed. And she grounds that one to the left side. Guess who it is again? Ladd, does she get her? Yes! Ooh, a nice play down at first. Gonzalez is a speedster. Not sure she liked the call. And a great extension there from Kelsey Carrasco at first base to lean all the way out and stretch for that one. If she doesn't, Thais Gonzalez beats it out for an infield single. But Ladd, the shortstop, is the focal point right now of where Michigan keeps hitting the ball. And it'll bring Natalia Rodriguez, the 9-hitter, to the plate. Rodriguez looked to lay down the bump, but fouled it back. The count is 0-1. We've got a conversation now between the Michigan State coaching staff and home plate umpire Mike Burwell. Not exactly sure. So Rodriguez checks back in. They have not updated the scoreboard. I presume she made contact with the bunt, but we're not exactly sure. Rodriguez hits that one on the ground. Going to be a tough play for the second baseman. Oh, what a play down at first. Kelsey Carrasco again. McKay, the second baseman, came forward, and she made a fine play. Knew she had to hurry with the speedy Rodriguez going down the line. And Kelsey Carrasco talked about a stretch in the previous play. That was even more impressive. A full splits there to make the play, and it delights the home crowd. gets Rodriguez, but Michigan right now just not able to get anything going offensively. Not able to hit the ball out of the infield right now. No hard contact so far off of Bridget Rainey, and that pitch goes outside for a ball 1-0. Stepping back in is Canfield. Very free cycle to the top of the order. That pitch is off speed and gets a piece of the plate inside for a strike. And the count is 1-1. That one is outside, or I guess low. Tough to exactly tell from this angle, but it missed. 2-1. Canfield, as a whole, doesn't draw a ton of walks. 13, but only 4 strikeouts on the season. She makes contact. The 2-1 pitch. Oh, right back to the mound. That was the first hard contact of the day, but a great job by Bridget Rainey to knock it down. And that will end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the third, and still no score and no hits between Michigan and Michigan State here from East Lansing, Michigan. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports.
Please be aware that foul balls may land in your area at today's game. Foul balls are sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Please return foul balls to the sales.
So the Michigan defense goes back out there. They haven't been asked to do a ton. Megan Bobian has been very, very good so far in this one.
This inning's Spartan batters will be announced by Junior Spartan.
So it'll be the 7, 8, 9 hitters here in the bottom of the third. Katie Quinlan, Lindsey Besson, and Melanie McKay for the Spartans. Katie Alexander behind the plate, receiving the warm-up pitches from Megan Bobian. Michigan defense in the outfield having a conversation as they get set to go back out there. This game going along at a very quick pace with really no offense or extended innings or really at-bats either in this one. Bobian reading the armband, then places her hands on her hips. She's ready to go, but home plate umpire Mike Burwell is waiting for the signal from the TV crew to say that it is okay to restart the broadcast, or the game, with the TV broadcast on Big Ten Network. And now he gets the signal, steps back inside the chalk box behind the plate, and waits for Katie Quinlan to step in. Quinlan, a left-handed hitter, the number 7 hitter, and she shows bunt, pulls it back, but it's a strike anyway. Quinlan, the right fielder, and freshman hitting .288. No power, though, only 1 extra base hit, and it happens to be a triple, but no homers, no doubles. The 0-1 pitch, she shows the bunt again and takes it for another strike. So now she's behind 0-2. Bobian, terrific command on these last 2 pitches, seeing the bunt coming and then locating in the outside corner. This time, no bunt, and the slapper takes it outside for a ball, 1-2. Bobian puts the ball back in the glove, and she delivers the 1-2 pitch. Getting a piece was Quinlan, but not a whole lot of it. Just taps it foul. Interesting, down in the bullpen for the Wolverines, Sarah Schaefer has been throwing some practice pitches. She got into the game yesterday. Don't really expect her to see a lot of action today. The 1-2 coming again from Bobian, and a soft tap to Quinlan. A glove flip. Did he get her? Yes, she did. What a fine play down there at first base. Megan Bobie in a glove flip. That was going to be a really tough play because Quinlan is a speedy runner, and it was really a soft tap, just probably 4 or 5 feet to the side of the edge of the circle, and Bobian got over there, but she was not going to have a chance to actually put it in the hand. Her only play was a glove flip. It wasn't the cleanest, but Blanco was able to trap it in the glove at first base and get the out just barely. So 1 out in the inning. And that one is a little low and in. On the 8-hitter, the catcher, Lindsey Besson, a senior who's really struggled on the season, 9 for 71, which comes out to a 127 batting average. And she takes off speed inside for a strike 1-1. Besson has started 35 games, appeared in 39. She has 1 double out of her 9 hits for a 141 slugging percentage. And that one is lined past the second baseman Canfield and into right field. So Michigan State gets the first hit of this game. Not a super hard hit ball, but enough contact to get it by Canfield, who was coming on strong and trying to cut it off. And it drops in from a Falk. So a base runner with 1 out. And we're going to have a pinch runner coming in. It's going to be number 12, Kelly Zachrison, a junior from Hudsonville, Michigan. And she'll be down there at first base. So Zachrison down there at first. Bring up
number 21, Melanie Bouquet.
It'll bring up number 21, the second baseman, Melanie Bouquet. And there's a strike throw down. Oh, boy. Zachrison is out by a mile. Katie Alexander just assassinated her on the base paths. That was not close. Maybe a little bit of a late jump or an awkward attempt to steal there from Zachrison. But Alexander, that throw was there, and Zachrison was barely halfway down the base path. And an easy tag applied by Canfield to get the out. So just like that, 2 outs. And a chance for Bobian to face the minimum 3. The 0-1 to Bouquet is just off the outside part of the plate for a ball 1-1. Alexander, who has been so strong defensively, throwing out another runner on the base paths. Count 1-1 on Bouquet. Oh, that's a nice off-speed pitch. Dropping on the outside part of the plate, and the count goes to 1-2. The weekend series, the Indiana Hoosiers, a very speedy team. They made a lot of things happen on the base pass, very active in the Friday game, but the threat of the Alexander arm made them tone it down. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. There by Melanie Bouquet. So Michigan State gets a hit, but they run into an out on the base paths, and then Bobian picks up her 4th strikeout. So we go to the top of the 4th. Our score, Michigan 0, Michigan State 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports.
Now it's time for Spartan Softball Trivia, sponsored by Marathon.
Once again, this game really accelerating at a quick pace. And again, Carol Hutchins having a big team conversation there. And now it looks like the whole team doing some kind of chant before they all, as a team, go into the dugout. So clearly some frustration for the Michigan offense, who just really haven't been able to get anything going in the last several games extended. Not really, doesn't matter who the pitcher was. Couldn't really get anything going against Jordan Kurth yesterday, and struggling with Bridget Rainey today.
And that is correct. Dan Beasley from the office. Congratulations. You won a gift card courtesy.
We had some Spartan softball trivia going on in between the 3rd and the 4th inning. So Michigan State defense goes back out there. It'll be the 2-3-4, really the meat of the order, coming up for Michigan, trying to get the lead and put Bobian in command. It'll be Peters, Blanco, and Uden. Peters stretching. slaps the feet twice, 3 times in 4. Is trying to stay loose as now Besson goes out there to have a talk with Rainey. And these little bit longer breaks between the innings with the game on Big Ten Network. Now, a couple of times the players have appeared ready to get the game back going. And now Mike Burwell is coming out to talk about something. Not exactly sure, but frustration on the face of Besson, who appeared to take a big shrug angrily. And now the whole infield coming in, including the first baseman, Carrasco. And now the conversation breaks. And Besson goes back along with Burwell behind home plate. Not sure what that was. It's the whole infield coming in. And now they break back to their position. So after that little interruption, we're just about to get set. This has been a long break in the play. But now Peters digs back in and is ready. And Rainey delivers. Peters pops up the bunt off the dirt, and it goes foul to count 0-1 on Peters. So far for the Wolverines offense, no hits. They do have 1 base runner, and it was a hit by pitch. But other than that, not much going for the Michigan offense. Same can be said for Michigan State. They have 1 hit, 9 batters faced through 3 innings. Bobian's faced the minimum. The 0-1, and Peters gets a hard one, and it's under the glove of Ladd. So Michigan just kept peppering Katie Ladd, the shortstop, all game long, and now they finally get one past her. A hard hit ball. That's probably the hardest contact Michigan has produced in this game, and it finds its way under the glove of the diving Katie Ladd into left field, and it puts Peters aboard with nobody out here in the top of the 4th. Blanco digs in. She was hit by the pitcher first time up. And Peters is a threat to steal. She leads the team with 13 stolen bases and 18 attempts. So we'll see if Michigan decides to test the arm of Lindsey Besson behind the plate. First pitch is a ball. Peters took a quick start off of first and then quickly shuffled back. Checking the armband is Rainey. She gets ready, puts the hand in the glove, and delivers. Blanco hits that one hard down the right field line, arcing towards foul territory, and it will drop in foul. A little late on that swing was Blanco. Perhaps if she had timed it up just a little bit better, it could have been a home run. Definitely good contact there, just not quite the timing. So count 1-1 on Blanco. And she swings and hits one hard down the line, and it will drop in. Fair ball. Heading to third is Peters. She will slide in safe. Blanco goes to second, and Michigan in business here in the top of the 4th. Blanco got a little bit better timing this time, though albeit still a little bit in front of it, and it was hooking towards foul territory, but it just dropped in a tiny bit inside the line, down the left field line. Blanco able to speed into second. Peters sliding into third safely, and we'll have the usual pinch runner, Nikki Wald, down at second base for Blanco, and it'll give Madison Uden an opportunity to knock in a pair of runs here in the top of the 4th and give Michigan the lead. And the first runs of the game, now we've got a big conversation going on between the Michigan State coaching staff, the infield, and Rainey. Several members of the Michigan State coaching staff, in fact. The head coach for the Spartans, Jackie Joseph, with assistants Kayla Jackson and Ben Sorden. Long conversation going on there. They got to be careful here with Uden at the plate. She's a dangerous hitter, and given the way Bobian has looked in this one, the prospects of scoring multiple runs for the Spartans, not too great. So you got to play small ball here and try to prevent the run. So Uden, the lefty hitter, gets set to face the lefty Rainey. Uden takes a couple practice cuts. Then she strolls a couple paces close to the batting box. Now gets ready to go. Puts her left foot in first, then her right. Points the bat towards Rainey. And here comes the first pitch. Uden is late on that swing and puts it back to the screen. And the count is 0-1. And indeed, the Michigan State defense is playing in, trying to prevent the run if it's on the ground. Carrasco and Eveland at the corners. McKay and Ladd also playing in. There's a big gaping hole right up the middle. If you get it past the pitcher, Rainey, that would score 2. The 0-1 pitch is high, 1-1. Michigan dugout cheering, hoping to egg Uden on to giving them a lead. The 1-1 is off speed and floats high. 2-1. Uden's being patient, looking for the pitch she wants. Perhaps a bit of a change compared to a little bit over-eager were the Wolverines in the first 3 innings. Now they've gotten 2 hits in this one, a single and a double. And they are threatening the 2-1 pitch. Uden is late, and she gets a piece. Fouling it back to the screen, count goes to 2-2. Uden is a threat to strike out with 34 on the season. That's second on the team behind Falk. Uden steps back in, and Rainey is ready. The 2-2 pitch coming, and she swings and pops it up high in the infield, and that's what Michigan State wanted. That's a big first out. So Uden is retired. Now bring Katie Alexander to the plate.
The catcher, number 17, Katie Alexander.
Alexander takes a couple of practice swings and looks at Carol Hutchins, thinking about how they're going to approach this at-bat. You put it in the outfield, you'll score the go-ahead run to take the lead. And again, Michigan State's outfield playing no doubles depth, and that pitch is high. Rainey reaches the left hand down to touch the dirt as Alexander had stepped out, and then a couple claps from Mike Burwell and says, let's get it going. The 1-0 pitch coming. That one is way high. 2-0. He's got to be careful here and not give something too appetizing to hit for Alexander. It's also the possibility they're kind of pitching around to bring up the lefty Falk on the lefty Rainey to load the bases and produce the potential for a double play and a force at home. The 2-0, that one is way high. Perhaps that is what's going on. Alexander steps out, 3-0. No, but out comes the catcher, Besson. And she's going to have a conversation with Rainey. And now Besson jogs back. Katie Alexander gets ready to step back in. Puts the right foot in first, then the left. Cocks the bat over the right shoulder. Peers in at the pitcher, Rainey, who delivers a strike. It's count 3-1. I doubt they give Alexander something too good to hit here. You got to be careful. Alexander again with some considerable power. 5 home runs on the season. Here's the pitch. 3-1 is a strike. That was a good one. Right at the top of the strike zone. Just clipping enough of home plate. And now Carol Hutchins coming out to talk to Mike Burwell about something. Not sure what's going on. Hutchins is chatting rather loudly with Burwell, who then takes his notebook out of the pocket and scribbling something down. Don't see any changes going on. Falk remains on deck and Alexander in the at-bat. The count still 3-2. Not sure what Hutchins was talking about. Burwell puts the mask back on. Holds up the sign, 3-2 to Rainey. He takes his position behind Besson. And here's the pitch. That one floats high, and that'll be a walk. So Alexander trots on down to first. The bases are loaded, and it will bring up the senior Aiden Falk looking for the big hit to put Michigan on top.
Right fielder, number 2, Aiden Falk.
Falk struck out her first time up in a very off-kilter at-bat. See if she has a better sense for the timing on Rainey's pitches this time, but she's late on that first one. The count is 0-1 on Aiden Falk. Falk digs back in. Here's the 0-1, and she is just out in front of that one, ever so slightly. Rolls over it down the first base line. Foul. 0-2 the count. So this is where Rainey wants her. And Falk is a threat to strike out, which is what Michigan State really needs here with the bases loaded and only one out. Falk with 35 entering the game, one today, 36. That's the team lead. The 0-2 swing and a miss. That's a big out for Bridget Rainey. And now she's one away from getting out of the jam. Holds up the finger to tell the infield, force at any base. You get the out any way you can. But now it falls to Haley Hogenrod. First pitch, she swings and grounds it past the second baseman, diving. One run will score. Here comes Wall to the plate. Throw is not in time. Safe, and a huge hit from Haley Hogenrod. And Michigan takes the 2-0 lead. Well, that was big. Michigan's third hit of the game. A big hard hit past the diving second baseman, Bakay, into right field. And give Quinlan credit. She came out firing and delivered a really accurate and good throw to the plate. Actually made it a much closer play than I was thinking, but just not in time to beat the speedy Wald. And there's a ground ball, but Gonzalez deep in the hole. Lad's got to hurry. Not going to be in time. Gonzalez beats it out at first. An infield single scores Alexander. And now it's 3-0. Michigan on top. Big hit there. Infield single all the same. It scores the run and gives Michigan some more padding from Thais Gonzalez. It's good for a player that really hadn't been in the lineup a lot recently. Good for the confidence. So she's at first. Now Hogenrod over there at third with 2 outs, and that one is way inside on Natalia Rodriguez, who has to get out of the way. Michigan finally breaking through with some 2-out hits. Clutch at-bats after it looked like a golden opportunity to take the lead was slipping away. And Rodriguez pops that one up right in front of the plate. Rainey will grab it and make the throw over to first. But Michigan gets 3 big runs here in the top of the fourth to take a 3-0 lead and give Megan Bobian the lead she needs. I'll send her back out there in the bottom of the fourth. Our score, Michigan 3, Michigan State 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports live from Sekia Stadium.
Here we go.
Bobian goes back out there and is getting ready for the bottom of the fourth inning. doing some warm-up pitches with Katie Alexander and the infield doing their normal fielding routines. Michigan wearing the away all-blue jerseys, which I can imagine are a little warm on a hot day like today, although the sun has now gone behind the clouds for a little bit, cooling it down ever so slightly. Michigan State wearing the white jerseys with the green pants and the white socks, green batting helmets. A nice green, white pattern there on the uniforms. We mentioned Michigan enters this game 15-2 in Big Ten play. Michigan State enters at 7-11. The Big Ten tournament started today. Michigan would be the 1 seed playing the winner of the 8-9 matchup, which Michigan State would be involved in. They would be the 9 seed playing Nebraska. That tournament in Madison, Wisconsin, not this weekend, but the one after. So we're back to the top of the order because Beaubien faced the minimum 9 through 3 innings, surrendering 1 hit with 4 strikeouts. Forrester back up, and she takes a ball 1-0. She struck out her first time up to get the game started. Beaubien steps back on the rubber, puts the ball in the glove, winds up and delivers the 1-0, and that one is popped up foul, and it will just get outside the stadium over the last row of seats on the third baseline. Count 1-1 on Forrester. Forrester, a center fielder, a senior, one of several who are playing their final game at Sakia Stadium here today. That pitch outside, 2-1. Forrester from Portage, Michigan. Went to Portage Central High School, 5'8", a lefty hitter. Throws righty, though. The 2-1 pitch coming, and she is late on that one and pokes it down the third base line. Foul. Count is 2-2 on Leah Forrester. She steps out of the batter's box, adjusts, and then steps back in. Beaubien puts the ball in the glove and then winds up with the left hand. That pitch is fouled back. Forrester doing enough to stay alive here in this at-bat and making contact. Stepping back in is Forrester. She's ready for another 2-2 delivery from Beaubien. Got her on the outside corner. Nice pitch there from Megan Beaubien. Painting the outside corner and ringing up Forrester for 1 out here in the 4th.
The designated player, number 22, Mackenzie Long.
So Mackenzie Long now is up. That pitch on the outside part of the plate. Beaubien really in command of her pitches today, working all corners of the plate and carving up the Michigan State lineup. They're going to have to find a way to scratch across 3 runs against her, which is a mighty task, given the sub-1 ERA she entered with. There's a strike on the outside corner. And quickly 0-2. I mean, that is so tough for a hitter like Mackenzie Long or any hitter in general. Those are pitches that are strikes, but all you can do is just make contact and hope it goes foul. I mean, there's nothing you can do with those. The 0-2 pitch floats a bit outside. Beaubien trying to get her to chase. Mackenzie Long gets ready, points the bat towards Beaubien, cocks it over the shoulder. The 1-2 pitch is fouled back to the screen, and we stay 1-2. Spartans are 17-2 this season when allowing its opponent 2 runs or fewer, which, if you do the math, means that they are 4-2 and 22 when they allow 3 runs or more. They've already allowed 3 here today. So the numbers aren't really on their side. The 1-2 pitch, did she go? No, she did not. Check swing by Long, she held up. So the at-bat continues 2-2. Long taps the plate once. Does a practice swing to get ready from Beaubien's 2-2 delivery. And getting a piece of it is Long, rolling it over to second base, and an easy play for Canfield. Long's a speedy runner getting down there, but more than enough time for Canfield to get the second out of the inning. So it'll bring up Katie Ladd. Ladd, a .288 hitter, entering the game. Checks back in. She came up back in the first, did not reach. Stands her up straight as the pitch is inside. And there's a swing and a miss. Beaubien went off speed there, pulled the string, and a whiff produced from Ladd, who's been very active in the field today as Michigan, through the first 3 innings, hit a lot of balls over to her side of the infield diamond. That pitch is down and away. So the count is 2-1. In the rare instances where a hitter is ahead of Beaubien, they got to be able to convert, which is much easier said than done. The 2-1 coming. There's a ground ball. Rodriguez right to it. She throws across the diamond, and then just like that, it's a 1-2-3 inning. Strikeout looking, and then a 4-3 put out, and then a 6-3 put out. Retires this side. We go to the 5th. Our score, the Michigan Wolverines 3, Michigan State Spartans 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. So Rainey goes back out there, trying to keep Michigan State in this game, which is key because they cannot let this one slip away. If you want to find a way to come back against Megan Beaubien, you're going to need to do it without falling down too much, because if it gets any more than a really 3 or 4, you're just in trouble. Beaubien has not allowed more than 3 runs this season. And some cheers from the fans, getting some coupons handed out to them as the defense does their usual warm-ups, getting set. As we pass the 5 o'clock hour here in East Lansing, the sun has really gone behind the clouds for a while now. It'll be the top of the lineup coming up as 8 Michigan hitters came to the plate in that 5th inning. It started with Natalie Peters' single, and it ended on an Natalia Rodriguez ground out. So we'll start with Canfield, Peters, and Blanco in the 5th. Against Bridget Rainey with a 3-run lead. Michigan trying to win their 16th Big Ten game of their season and their 41st overall. Trying to keep pace to win a Big Ten crown and restart another conference title streak that was snapped last season. Trying to start a new one this year. And they've said all season long that their highest priority is to win that Big Ten title. Canfield fouls the first pitch back to the screen. Last year, it was a tremendous disappointment that the Minnesota Golden Gophers were able to take the Big Ten crown from them. And certainly the emphasis that has been placed on the Big Ten title was evident yesterday when Carol Hutchins refused to go to Megan Beaubien under any circumstances, even though it was clear that the game was slipping away against a beatable team. Canfield swings and flies it down the right field line, arcing, and it will just go foul. The count is 0-2. Yesterday's game, obviously not against a Big Ten opponent, and so they felt willing to waste a game if necessary. against the Western Michigan Broncos. They'll have an off day tomorrow, but not really with the Michigan Softball Academy. Oh boy, there's a pitch way outside and in the dirt, bouncing several feet before the plate. Since 2007, the Wolverines softball program has raised over $1 million for cancer research through the Michigan Softball Academy, and that annual event will be tomorrow night down at Alumni Field. Their last off day before the big weekend series with Ohio State. There's a hit the opposite way for Canfield, over the head of the first baseman and dropping into right field for a leadoff single from Canfield. So for the second straight inning, Michigan gets a leadoff hit. That's their 5th of the game. They're starting to finally break through against Bridget Rainey.
The center fielder, number 11, Natalie Peters.
Peters steps into the batter's box to get ready. She singled, a good hard single, past the shortstop lad who was diving for the ball. Now she shows bunt and pulls it back as the pitch floats high and outside. Peters steps in, gets ready. The 1-0 pitch coming. That one is low and in the dirt, 2-0. You mentioned Rainey has had some issues with the walks this season, but it hasn't been the command that's gotten to her today. It's been a hard contact. Big hard single and a double by Blanco, and then by Hoganrod. The 2-0, and Peters lines it into right field. There's another hard hit. Canfield takes an aggressive turn on second base, but then puts on the brakes. She stays there. Peters is aboard at first, and now 2 on and nobody out for Tara Blanco. And Michigan is threatening to do more damage here in the top of the 5th, already leading 3-0 over the Spartans.
First baseman, number 24, Tara Blanco.
So Blanco comes up, and she is the only Wolverine to reach twice today, a hit by pitch in the first, and then that double that she just tucked inside the third base line in the 4th. There's a strike. The 0-1 coming from Rainey, floats high. Canfield jogging off of second. She does have 9 steals on the season, but stealing third is a tough proposition. And no reason to run into outs with a hitter as potent as Blanco at the plate. A 1-1 is outside. Blanco looks over at Carol Hutchins for some signals before she steps back in, taps the plate once. Rainey, as she's done several times today, reaches down to touch the dirt. The 2-1 pitch, just off the plate outside. Looks pretty good, but she missed, according to home plate umpire Mike Burwell. And now a pitch away from loading the bases with nobody out here in the top of the 5th. She steps back on the rubber. The 3-1 coming is a strike. That's a good one on the outside part of the plate. The count runs to 3-2. The count is full on Blanco. Rainey delivers the 3-2 pitch, and Blanco gets a piece, fouling it back to the screen. This is the 119th all-time meeting, 118th all-time meeting between Michigan State and Michigan. Michigan leads the all-time series 89-28. It's been pretty lopsided in the history of these two programs. The 3-2 coming on Blanco is ball 4. Takes it outside, and now Michigan's got him loaded for Madison Uden. The MSU program has had some pretty solid seasons in the past, but none terribly recently. They won the Big Ten tournament back in 2004 and reached the NCAA regionals in 97, 99, 03, and 04. And now we've got conversation between Jackie Joseph, the head coach, and Mike Burwell, and it looks like that'll be the end for Bridget Rainey. She hands the ball to Ben Sorden, the pitching coach. She jogs to the dugout. And coming out of the bullpen is number 24, McKenna Gregory. She'd been warming up in there for a little while. Gregory is a freshman from Benisa, California, 5'11". She's a dual threat player like Tara Blanco, a pitcher and a first baseman. She's tall, 5'11". As we mentioned, Christina Zalewski, the ace of the staff, unavailable in today's game, unfortunately, even though it is her senior day. We're told that she received a cortisone shot in the shoulder before the contest. So they're going to have to go deep into the Spartans bullpen with Gregory. Some interesting stats about this game as we wait for the warm-up pitches. Bridget Rainey closed her career in Michigan State history because she is also a senior. Entering the game, she had 356 career strikeouts, which was 7th in MSU's all-time record book. Not too many here today, but still an okay performance. Kept Michigan State in it for a while, but unable to get the runs they need. And they're going to need a big performance here from Gregory to get them out of a jam. First pitch strike on Uden. Uden came up with runners on second and third, nobody out in the fourth, and popped out. Blanco was on first, her first at bat as well, so this is her third with runners on. The 0-1 pitch, and Uden hits it. It's sinking, and it's off the glove of Eccles. One run will score, rounding third and heading home, and scoring is Natalie Peters. A diving play by Ebony Eccles, and just unable to make the play. And that's good aggressive base running there from Faith Canfield, as it will be a single for Uden, 2 RBIs. Because even if Eccles makes the play, she isn't going to be able to get up and double off the Michigan runners at all. So they were really aggressive, and with the ball dropping out, Canfield and Peters both come home to score. Our score now, Michigan 5, Michigan State 0. Runners on first and second and nobody out. There's a strike to Alexander. A single walk, single, the first 4 hitters in this inning, chasing Rainey, and there's a pitch fouled back to the screen, 0-2 by Alexander, bringing McKenna Gregory into the game, and Michigan State's got to be careful because it is starting to enter run rule territory. It's 8 runs after 5 is the rule. There's currently 5 runs in the 5th with 2 on and still no one out in this inning. The 0-2 coming. Alexander extends enough to get a piece of it and pokes it out of play. Foul. Count remains 0-2. Alexander puts 1 foot back in. Then the other taps the plate once and is in the ready position. The 0-2, she swings and hits it. That one is going to get down in the gap. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. 1 run will score. Rounding third and heading home is Uden. Alexander digging for third. Throw is not in time. It rolls away. She's going to roll home, but they're going to give her home plate because it went into the Michigan dugout. And just like that, there's the 3 runs. That'll be a triple with an error scoring Alexander. And just like that, 8-0 Michigan. That is their 7th hit of the game. And Michigan goes ahead 8-0. And just as we mentioned just a few moments ago, the potential for the run rule, and now it is definitely in play as Michigan now has the 8 runs in the 5th inning. And boy, just a total change of pace. Michigan's offense, which had just had nothing going on through the first 3, finally woke up and been able to figure out Rainey and then McKenna Gregory. Now we got a pinch hitter coming in for the Wolverines. Instead of Aiden Falk, it's going to be Lou Allen, who really had been the designated player throughout the main part of the season, as there's a pitch inside for a ball. Allen was out early in the season with some knee issues, but then she finally was able to get healthy and started making an impact. There's a ground ball deep in the hole to short. She's not a quick runner. Lad's going to have to hurry, and it is in the dirt, bouncing away from the first baseman. Carrasco is unable to make the pick, so Allen will reach probably on an error, see how they score it. It looks like indeed they will. So she's aboard in this inning, continuing. Still no one out for the Wolverines. I presume that'll be E6. And now we've got a pinch runner coming in for Allen. Obviously still not full strength. She's healthy enough to be playing, unlike early in the season, but still not full speed in terms of running it all. And so the pinch runner is number 23, Taylor Swearingen. Haley Hoganrod now steps in and looking to continue to extend this inning and pour some more on with Swearingen over at first. Hoganrod was the one that busted the game open and finally broke the ice, and now she's going to hit that one, and it is going to be caught. Uh-oh, Swearingen is going to be doubled off. No, she's not. They didn't have the foot on the base. Oh, that was a lucky break for the Wolverines. Good contact for Hoganrod. Coming on strong was Quinlan to make the catch. She came up firing to first, and Swearingen, with not any kind of awareness of what was going on there, she was going to be doubled off easily. The throw beat her, but Carrasco didn't have her foot on the bag, and Swearingen frantically slides back in, able to get in there. So only one out. And there's a ball inside, 1-0. Thais Gonzalez at the plate. Gonzalez had an infield single deep in the hole to short to score a run and get an RBI. Back in the 4th, there's a strike. In fact, it was Gonzalez's 5th RBI of the season. That one she gained last inning. That pitch off speed and rising high. Count 2-1 on Gonzalez. A little practice check swing. Waits for Gregory to get back on. The 2-1 pitch is a strike inside, 2-2. Gregory, as a freshman, figures to be a big part of this Michigan State staff next year, with the top 2 pitchers, Rainey and Zalewski, both being seniors. So they will graduate, leaving Jordan Watson and Gregory the only pitchers on the team, aside from whichever recruits come in to the program. That pitch is outside, 3-2. So Michigan perhaps getting to see some of a pitcher they might see quite a bit next season when these two teams meet. Count 3-2 on Gonzalez, and she rolls over to the second base side. A nice flip with the offhand there by Biquet to get the out of Gonzalez. It moves Swearingen up to second, and there's 2 outs in the inning. And now we might have another pinch hitter, as Carol Hutchins has come out to talk to Mike Burwell once again. Have to see who it is. Gonzalez is whispering some advice, but the number is obscured from my line of vision. It's going to be number 15, Alex Subject, who actually got the start behind home plate yesterday. It was a very rare instance of her getting behind the plate action. But she's been a little bit of designated player sometimes this season. She was actually the starting third baseman to begin the year, and then Rodriguez's emergence as a defensive rock kicked Uden over to third and squeezed out Subject from the regular order, but she's been an important pinch hitter for this Michigan team off the bench. There's a strike 0-1 by Gregory. Michigan with 3 in the fourth and now 5 here in the fifth. The 0-1 pitch, Subject pops it up. Backing up is the shortstop, Ladd, and she'll make the catch. So that'll end the top of the fifth, but Michigan does the damage. They get 5 in the top of the fifth. A Canfield single, a Peters single, a Uden walk, or excuse me, a Blanco walk, a Uden single, an Alexander double with an error, and the first 5 hitters to reach all score for Michigan. So now they're ahead 8-0, and if Megan Bobian can get a scoreless inning here in the bottom of the fifth, that will end the game with the mercy rule. And she's definitely been pretty darn terrific so far, building on her 7-inning shutout. The first time these teams met, she's been really, really good here today. 4 scoreless so far, carving her way through the order. The only hit allowed was not really terrific contact, and she's been totally in command today. Throwing her warm-up pitches with Alexander, and if Michigan can squeeze this one out here in just 5 innings, that'll be big in terms of getting some extra rest with this busy week before they take on Ohio State at Alumni Field this weekend with a chance to clinch the Big Ten title. Michigan 8 runs on 8 hits. The Spartans no runs on 1 hit. And 2 errors committed by Michigan State. 1 on the shortstop and I believe 1 on the third baseman, unless they gave it to the right fielder, Quinlan. And Bobian in this game has still faced the minimum through 4, with that 1 hit getting easily thrown out on the base paths trying to steal by Katie Alexander, which means it'll be 4, 5, 6 here in the fifth. Kelsey Carrasco, Caitlin Eveland, and Ebony Eccles trying to extend this game for Michigan State. Kelsey Carrasco taps the plate. She gets ready to go. As we begin the bottom of the fifth, Bobian delivers the first pitch, and it's a little inside, 1-0. Bobian looking for what would be her 18th complete game of the season. The 1-0 coming is also inside, 2-0. And Alexander immediately jumps up and asks home plate umpire Mike Burwell for time to trot out there and say something to Bobian. And she motions to the dugout and then goes back behind home plate. Something we've learned throughout this season is that Alexander and Blanco call their own games when Tara is in the circle. But with Bobian, it is still called from the dugout. Perhaps she will get the trust over time. 2-1 the count as that pitch is taken for a strike by Carrasco. Bobian with the right foot behind the rubber as she delivers. The 2-1 is going to be over the head of Uden and taking a big high hop off the dirt and over Rodriguez. A weird-looking play there, but it is a leadoff single for Carrasco, the second of the game for the Spartans, and they get their second base runner. It's a very odd play. It was definitely over the head of Uden, but it was going to be one heck of a tough play for Rodriguez. She was diving to her right and tried to backhand the ball off the hop, and I think it got a piece of her as it was taking a moonshot off the infield dirt, and then it dribbles into the outfield for a single. And looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter upcoming. I believe, let me see. That was a pinch runner. And Jackie Joseph came out to say something to Mike Burwell and make the change. Eveland at the plate. There's a pitch inside. Pinch runner down there at first is Joanna Bart, a freshman from Matawan, Michigan. The 1-0 pitch to Eveland is a little high. Beaubien right now, mechanics a little unscrewed, missing with the command, and Alexander quickly coming out to talk once more. She's fallen behind now 2-0. The first two hitters here in the fifth after looking so in control through 4. Needs to settle down and focus on the pitching. The 2-0 pitch is in the dirt, 3-0. Beaubien struggled with some command issues early in the season in non-conference, really after her terrific performance against Florida State. The 3-0 pitch is a strike. She was walking some batters kind of significantly in the series out in California and then in Boca Raton. But things got all straightened out in Oxford, and that pitch is inside for a walk. So Michigan State now threatening with 2 on and nobody out. Alexander coming out to talk, as is Bonnie Thole from the Michigan coaching staff. Seeing if something is going on mechanically with Beaubien or physically. We'll see. I mean, obviously Michigan would prefer to just have Beaubien get out of this inning and finish this game right here without having to continue to extend. Jackie Joseph back out of the Michigan State dugout once again. Chatting to Burwell, and now the conversation breaks on the mound, or in the circle rather, as we got a pinch hitter now coming. It's going to be Lexi White pinch hitting for Ebony Eccles. That was what Jackie Joseph was talking about. A lot of substitutions going on. A pinch runner down at second. A pinch hitter at the plate. Katie Quinlan over in the on-deck circle. 2 on and nobody out. This is the Spartans' best chance to score, and they need at least 1 to keep the game going. And Beaubien's pitch floats high. Stepping back into the batter's box, tapping the plate. The 1-0. That's a strike. Finally locating there. And Lexi White steps out. 1-1. So this is the first time this inning in the third hitter that Beaubien has been able to get in a 1-1 count. She fell behind 2-0 the first 2. The 1-1 pitch dives a little low, and Alexander stands up to fire it back. Now Tara Blanco walks in to say something to Beaubien, and Beaubien motions that she's okay, checks the armband, looking how to attack Lexi White. The 2-1 coming. White gets a piece of it, fouling it back to the screen. We beg to get a strikeout here with 2 runners on and nobody out. Lexi White is a junior from New Boston, Michigan. A 5'8" outfielder and a righty hitter against the lefty Beaubien. Swing and a miss. And there's a strike 3 call. Beaubien gets that big first out through the strikeout variety, keeps the runners at first and second, not allowing them to advance. So Katie Quinlan steps in now. A lefty hitter. And Michigan trying to prevent the run as the runners on first and second. Blanco and Uden playing way in on the corners, and the pitch is low. Rodriguez has to shade over towards third in case of a steal, and Canfield shades over towards second as well. And Uden is way in down at third. The 1-0. That's a strike on the outside part of the play. That's a good pitch against a slap hitter in Quinlan. Michigan obviously not really respecting Quinlan's ability to go the opposite way, pulling Uden in so far at third. Blanco a little deeper at first. That pitch is fouled. Oh, and a nice one-handed grab by a gentleman above the Michigan dugout, leaning over to extend over the railing and grabbing it with his left hand. 1 or 2 bobbles, and he corrals it and then tosses it to Megan Beaubien and back into play. So Beaubien's ahead now, 1-2. Trying to sit down Quinlan. Got her on the outside corner. Woo! Painting the edges. And now Beaubien is 1 out away from finishing this thing up. She put 2 runners on a single and a walk, but now a pair of strikeouts. And last call for the Spartans is number 19, Lindsey Besson, a senior also playing in her last game at Sekia Stadium. The pitch is on the inside part of the plate. Looked a little tight, but Mike Burwell goes up with the right arm. And it's a good job by Beaubien now starting to work out of this adversity when the command came a little loose to then tighten things back up. And now really working the pitches again. There's a ground ball to second. Canfield Fields flips over to Rodriguez for the force at second. And that's an out there. And that'll do it. Coming out of the dugout are the Michigan players. Michigan defeats Michigan State 8-0 here in the afternoon contest at Sekia Stadium. The final box score, Michigan 8 runs on 8 hits. Michigan State no runs on 2 hits. A very, very fine performance from Megan Beaubien here in this one. Our second shutout of the season against the Michigan State Spartans after tossing one back in April. She does it again here on the second day of May. Michigan defeats Michigan State and sweeps the season series. Michigan advances to 16-2 in conference play and sets up a big home series this weekend with Ohio State down at Alumni Field. If they can sweep that one, they will be crowned the Big Ten champions. If not, they're at risk of having to share the Big Ten title with Minnesota. And the handshake lines finished up. The Michigan players getting high fives from the coaching staff. And I must say, a really big way to bounce back from adversity after an ugly, ugly game where they couldn't hit. The pitching was bad. The fielding was uncharacteristically bad. But to bounce back and have a really strong performance here today and defeat Michigan State 8-0 is important for the confidence as well, as it puts them on the right track, getting ready for the big series against the bitter rival Ohio State. They defeat a rival here today in the Spartans, who dropped to 7-12 on the season. Beaubien with the win. The loss goes to Bridget Rainey. The big hits in this one. Haley Hoganrod, a 2-run double. That's the winning runs. A Thais Gonzalez RBI single. A Madison Uden 2 RBI single. A Katie Alexander 2 RBI double. Scoring on an error are how the 8 runs were scored in this one. And with that, just about does it for Sekia Stadium. I want to thank you for joining me in the presentation of this game of Michigan softball on WCBN Sports. For Alex Drain, signing off from East Lansing, Michigan. Victorious are the Wolverines in enemy territory. I'm Alex Drain saying good night and go blue.